Hi, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I thank you so much for being here with me on today. Before we begin, I do want to let you know that this talk is not about speaking more, advocating louder, mastering confidence, any of that. This talk is about something so much deeper than that. It is about truth. It is about what happens when a woman finally stops performing strength long enough to realize what she's been actually carrying. My name is Deb Davis. I am the founder of the Transparency Table. It's a faith centered coaching and community platform for women who are ready to stop hiding, to stop living in survival mode, and to start living whole and in freedom. What I'm going to talk to you about today is not theory, this is testimony. Let us begin. I'm going to start my presentation and then we're going to walk through this together. Now, I want to set the frame for this conversation right up front. Many women come into rooms like this thinking this is about learning how to speak or how to advocate for themselves or to push back. But I'm here not to teach you about how to speak. I am here to invite you back to yourself. This work is purely about honesty, healing, and alignment. Honesty that tells the truth. Healing that begins when we stop pretending everything is fine. How many of us in this room, when we walk past people or you casually say, "Hey, how you doing?" Our go-to is, "I'm fine." And we don't really take the time to really evaluate what we really are feeling on the inside. That's what this is about today. And when alignment shows up and it lines up with what we're really actually feeling on the inside, that is what we're really going to talk about. We're going to share today. Because when those two things don't match, something suffers. So let's talk about it. Okay, let's go, slides. So I want to pause right here, right now. I want to name something that is happening in rooms just like this. It's happening in boardrooms, in churches, in homes, in every space that we come across. There are women who are deeply capable, deeply gifted, and deeply exhausted. They have learned how to function without feeling free. They show up, they perform, they deliver, they hold everything together. But on the inside, there's a quietness that has nothing to do with peace. It is that quietness of a woman who stopped expecting to be seen. She carries much while saying little. She looks strong because people need her to be strong, but she is not thriving. She is managing. And there is something that's totally different. Those two things are totally different. Managing and thriving is totally different. She is not broken, she is buried. And today I want to help us to start digging out. So before we go any further, I need to honor the silence because I personally do not believe every woman who has gone quiet or silent did so because she was weak. That is not true. Many of us went quiet because silence felt like it was the safest thing for us to do at the time. Sometimes silence meant survival. Sometimes it meant protection. Sometimes it meant responsibility. You knew that if you yourself allowed yourself to feel it all, everything might just fall apart. And you were the one that was holding it all together. So, guess what? You held it together. And I want to honor that because going quiet was not always wrong. because sometimes we needed to do it. But here's the flip side of that. There comes a point when when silence once protected us, it began to imprison us. And that's what I want to address today. Now, I want to talk about how this actually happens. For many women, the question is, when did I lose my voice? And the answer is usually not one simple moment. It was not one conversation. It was not one relationship or one event. We lose our voice in layers. For some of us, it started in our childhood when we learned what we said was too much, you're talking too much, you're too loud, you're too sensitive, or you simply just wasn't welcome. Then that's when the rejection came. Then came the roles that required us to always look like we had it together. Then came places that should have been safe, but wounded us instead, right? Then came the weight of being the strong one. Every layer added additional weight. Every layer taught us how to become more quiet. And today we are going to name that. So, this is the turning point of everything I want to say today. There comes a moment, and it looks different for every woman, when something shifts. It is the moment when the cost of staying silent becomes greater than the cost of speaking. I know that moment personally. For me, it did not look like a dramatic declaration. It looked like one honest sentence, one honest word, me being real true to myself. It looked like me finally admitting the truth about what I had been carrying. Not what it looked, not what looked like I was carrying, but what I was actually carrying. I wasn't trying to sound like I was so mature, but I wanted to actually be truthful. That is what I want to invite you into today. Not a performance of courage, not one more round of pretending, just the truth. Because everything begins to change when you stop carrying it alone in the dark and bring it to the light. I want to be very clear about what I mean when I say restored voice, because there's a common misunderstanding we need to address. When we hear finding your voice, we often think it means getting louder or being more assertive, taking up more space, or saying more. But that is not what I'm talking about, you all. The restored voice is not about volume, it is about honesty. It is about whether what you say matches what is actually happening on the inside. Now, a woman can be real loud, and still be hiding. Or a woman can be very quiet and be fully free. So the question is not how loud you are. The question is how honest you are, how aligned you are, how true you are to yourself. That is the voice we are restoring today. I want to talk about what happens when a woman tells the truth, not the idea of a truth, not a half truth, but the real life truth. Truth creates clarity. Once you name it, you can see it. And when you see it, you can finally address it. Truth creates freedom. What is named can be released. What stays hidden stays heavy. Truth creates alignment. When you stop saying one thing while feeling another, your whole system begins to settle. Your your yeses starts to be yes, your no's start to mean no. And truth opens up the door to transformation because we cannot transform what we refuse to acknowledge. Every breakthrough I have witnessed in my own life and in the lives of the women that I coach began with one honest sentence. Now, I want to address the cost of not restoring the voice because someone may be thinking, I'm fine. I have learned how to manage. That's what you say. But guess what? Managing is not the same as thriving. When a woman's voice is restored, there's different patterns that begins to show up. No, when a woman's voice is not restored, these are the patterns that show up. She overperforms, she overexplains, she overworks, she overgives, and she overcontrols. Not because something is wrong with her, but because somewhere along the way, survival taught her to prove herself, to protect herself, to avoid, to go along to get along, to carry the things. These are not character flaws. These were survival or are survival strategies, but they are costing her so much. I want to speak specifically to the woman in this room who lead. Whether you lead in a corporation, a church, a nonprofit, your own business, or your home, the restored voice changes how you lead. Before restoration, leadership often looked like, I'm proving myself. You're trying to prove your value, prove your worth, prove your capability, prove that you have the right to even be in certain rooms. It looks like performing strength instead of being present. It looks like managing perceptions instead of truly serving the people who are right there in front of you. But when your voice is restored, everything shifts. You stop leading to prove and you start leading to serve. You stop performing and you start being present. And when you choose honesty, you give other women permission all around you to be honest at the same time. That is the kind of leadership that changes things. Here's the invitation I want to extend to you today. We can make this real complex and difficult, and there is a place for therapy, coaching, and deeper inner work. But the first step that I'm talking about today is really simple. It's one honest sentence. One honest sentence. It might be, I'm tired. It might be, I'm still grieving. It might be, I have been carrying this for far too long. It might be, I have been hiding behind being strong. Or it might be, I am so ready to stop surviving in silence. That sentence does not have to be public. That right there is my most important sentence in my life where I felt like I was so tired of just surviving in silence. I mean, I didn't have to make a post about it. I didn't have to make it public. I didn't have to scream it off the rooftop. Only thing that I needed to do was be true to myself. And I found one safe person to share that with. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Even if that safe person is God. And you do not have to have the whole path today. You just need to have that first honest step. Now, I want to paint a clear picture of what we are moving towards. Because sometimes women avoid this work because they do not know what restoration actually looks like. So let me tell you, the restored voice is honest. It tells the truth without performing or pretending. The restored voice is grounded. It is not reactive, anxious, or desperate to be validated. The restored voice is whole, not perfect, but whole. It can hold grief and gratitude at the same time. It can hold strength and tenderness at the same time, truth and healing at the same time. The restored voice is free, free from the need to perform, free from the weight of carrying everything alone. And the restored voice is aligned. What you say matches up with what you feel. What you do matches up with who you are. And what you lead matches the calling on your life. This is not a personality upgrade. This is the restoration of something that was always meant to be yours. Before we close, I want to give you a moment to reflect. You do not have to answer all of these out loud. Just sit with these questions quietly. Where has my voice gone quiet? What have I been carrying in silence? What truth do I need to acknowledge? Not perform, not to pose, just acknowledge it to yourself or to God. Okay, before we close, I mean, before I leave you on today, I want to leave you with something practical. I created a free resource called Shift from Silence to Strength. It walks you through 5 simple steps to begin restoring your voice. You do not have to have it all figured out today. You can download this. Either you go to my website at thetransparencytable.com/, silence to strength, or you can scan the QR code that's on the slide right now. And I do want to offer this. If this message has resonated with you on today, I invite you to stay connected with the Transparency Table. You do not have to do this work alone. I want to close now. For real. Everything I have shared with you today comes down to one conviction. Your voice matters, not because of what you produce, not because of the platform you have, not because of the title you hold. Your voice matters because you matter. Full stop. I love you all. Thank you so much for being with me on today. Have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are and go walk in truth. I'm cheering you on, and I cannot wait to hear your testimony of your restored voice. Share this with someone that you know who may need it. I love you all. God bless.